Hi guys, welcome to Yoga Pilates with SJ. Today we have a full body Pilates workout for weight loss. This is a very powerful fat burning workout that you can do at home with no equipment. So when you're ready, you might like to pause the video if you're not quite ready. We're just going to come to a tabletop position. So making sure the shoulders are in line with the wrists and the knees are in line with the hips. Then you're tucking the toes under, keeping the core engaged here and bringing the belly button to spine as you hover the knees up. So you're using your core to lift you up and lower back down. We're hovering up as you inhale, exhale as you lower back down, keeping that core engaged the whole time, pressing the shoulders towards the mat, keeping length through the back of the neck. So you're using those core muscles to lift you up, lower you down. It's just a very small lift, and even if you don't come all the way up off the mat, that is absolutely fine. Just keeping your mind to the muscles through that core that we're working. When you're ready, sitting back towards your heels and then starting to come back through to your tabletop position. Gaze up, tailbone up, and then coming back to your hover. So just lifting those knees up, and then you're untucking the toes as you sit back towards the heels, rounding the spine, belly button to spine, coming back to that hover again. Nice neutral pelvis, sitting back towards the heels as you round through the spine, and then inhale as you gaze up, tailbone up, coming back to that tabletop, lifting the knees in that tabletop position, and then sitting back towards those heels, rounding the spine, dropping the belly, gaze up, tailbone up, tucking the toes, lifting the knees and lower them back down. Untuck the toes, sitting back towards the heels, rounding the spine, heart comes forward, tailbone comes up, and then you are hovering those knees and lowering back down with control, sitting back towards the heels as you round through the spine, coming back, gaze up, tailbone up, and then coming back to that neutral spine. And staying here, breathing in and breathing out, finding that neutral. Reaching your right arm long and your left leg long, and then switching sides. Left arm goes long, right leg goes long. Switch. Inhale. Exhale, switch. Inhale. Exhale, switch. Keeping this going, keeping your core engaged. Shoulders are away from the ears. You're finding a long line from fingertips to toes. Keeping that belly button to spine. The pelvis is in that neutral position, hips pointing straight down. Keep it going. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. We're building a fire, staying strong, finding your length, finding your strength. Keep it going. Breathing in as you lengthen out. Exhale as you return the knee back down. Hand comes back down. Awesome. This time we're going to start to bring the knee in towards the elbow and then release it down. Switching sides. Inhale. Elbow comes toward that knee and then releasing it down. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthening back out. Exhale, releasing the leg back down. Keep this going, guys. Keep that belly button to spine the whole time. Keeping a neutral pelvis. You are bringing that knee in, using your core to draw the knee in towards the chest. We are burning belly fat here, increasing the metabolism. We are working through every muscle of the body, using the core muscles as well as all of the other muscles throughout the body to really get results. Awesome. Taking your time to come back through center, and then we're coming down onto your forearms. Keeping the hips in line with the knees, and then you can tuck the toes under here. Just letting the head come down, and you are lifting the hips up, and then just hovering the knees up off of the mat. So we're just bringing the knees to hover and lowering back down to nearly come all the way down, but not quite, and then lifting those hips back up. So it's a very small movement, using your core to lift and lower. So just trying to keep everything nice and still here, and then you're lifting the hips all the way up. We're going to start to just bend one knee and then the other, and pressing the heel back as you return that foot back. So keeping the toes on the mat. It's just a bend of the knee in towards the belly and then switching to the other side as you straighten the other leg. So keeping the hips nice and high, keeping the shoulders away from the ears, the head can relax down, pressing the forearms down into the mat for support. And maybe if you're feeling really strong here today, you might start to lift the toes up, starting to bring the knee in a little bit closer towards the belly as you bring the belly towards the top of that leg, lifting the hips up high, keeping that lift, breathing in, drawing that leg in, and then switching sides. Staying strong, trying to keep the hips still and stable, and coming back through center and lowering the knees back down. Beautiful work, you guys. Untuck the toes, lifting the feet up, and we're going to find a little lift up towards the ceiling with the hips, coming to a downward facing dog, bending the knees generously towards the belly and then lifting the hips up even higher towards the ceiling as you sink the heels towards the mat. Inhale, bringing the top of the legs towards the belly, lifting the hips up high, and then releasing, straightening through the back of the legs. Down dog. Inhale, bending those legs, nice bend of the knees, and lifting the hips up high, sinking the heels down, straightening through the back of the legs, finding an open back here. So we are finding lots of space between the shoulder blades. This time we're bringing the right leg up and lowering it down, and then the left leg up and lowering it down. So it's kind of a three-legged dog here, but you're pulsing the legs. So you're just bringing the leg up, pulse, pulse, and lowering the toes back down, and then switching sides. Little pulse up and lower it down, using that smile line underneath the glute to really draw the leg and pulse into this. So we're finding some really, really good work through the glutes here, through the booty, as well as using your core, as well as all of the arm muscles, the back, the shoulders. Everything is getting a workout here in this shape. Keep it going, guys. Breathing in, breathing out, pulse, pulse, and release. Great job. And coming to your downward facing dog, sinking those heels and then lowering the knees down, sitting back towards the heels, and then rounding the spine as you shift forward. Tabletop, and then tucking the toes again, lifting the hips up. Downward facing dog, sinking those heels. Inhale, shifting forward, lowering the knees down. Tabletop, and sitting back towards the heels. Inhale, rounding the spine, belly button to spine, coming to your tabletop, dropping the belly, gaze up, tailbone up, and then coming back, downward facing dog, lifting the hips up, sinking the heels. Inhale, shifting forward, plank this time. Exhale, lowering the knees down, sitting back towards those heels, finding length through the arms. Inhale as you come forward, bringing the belly button to spine, gaze up, tailbone up, and then tucking the toes. Coming back to your downward facing dog, sinking those heels, finding length through the back of the legs. Inhale, coming back to your plank. Exhale, dropping the knees down, sitting back towards the heels, child's pose. Inhale, shifting forward, tabletop, gazing up, tailbone up. Inhale, coming back to your down dog, sinking those heels. Exhale, inhale, shifting forward, plank, and dropping the knees, sitting back towards the heels, child's pose. Inhale, shifting forward, gaze up, tailbone up, and then exhale as you round the spine, chin to chest, sitting back towards the heels. Inhale, shifting forward, gaze up, tailbone up. Exhale, coming back to a neutral spine. Inhale, downward facing dog. Exhale, releasing the heels down, belly to the top of the legs. Inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, shifting forward, plank, pressing the heels to the back of the mat, finding length through the back of the neck, and then we're starting to run the legs. So bringing one knee in, then the other, knee to chest. Keep it going, breathing in, breathing out. We are burning, we are sculpting, we're getting all of the good things, full body here. Keep it going, you guys, staying strong, keeping your pelvis in a neutral, breathing in, breathing out, belly button to spine, keeping that core engagement. Gaze is straight down, pressing the shoulders towards the mat, keeping the shoulders away from the ears, and release. Well done. Bringing the pelvis up towards the ceiling and releasing the heels down. Downward facing dog. Inhale as you drop the knees down. Exhale as you sit back towards the heels, big toes together, child's pose. Forehead comes down onto the mat, lengthening the arms, taking a well-earned break here. Breathing deeply in through the nose, out the nose or mouth. Awesome. We're coming all the way down now onto your forearms. Starting to come back to that plank. So it's a forearm plank, pressing the heels back. And if you need to, you can drop the knees here. Otherwise, staying high, we're starting to just drop the pelvis, the hips over to one side and then coming up and over to the other. Keeping the torso nice and still and neutral. It's just movement through the hips here, coming up and over, keeping your core engaged the whole time, working through those obliques, getting into that side waist. Inhale. Exhale, keeping that belly button to spine. Heels are pressing to the back of the mat, keeping length through the back of the neck. Shoulders are pressing down towards the mat. Keep it going. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and coming back through center, lowering the knees down, lifting the feet up off of the mat. Finding that core engagement here, shoulders are away from the ears. Then you're dropping the front side of that pelvis down towards the mat, lifting the feet up, lifting the gaze, opening the heart, and then rounding the spine as you start to press the hips back and allow a melting of the heart center down. Forehead comes down onto the mat, puppy pose. Finding a nice breath in as you shift forward and dropping the pelvis down. Hips come down to the mat. Gaze up and finding that nice open heart. And then starting to press back as you lift the hips up and sink the heart center down towards the mat. Forehead comes down. Belly relaxing, finding some nice stretch through the shoulders, the arms. Inhale as you shift forward, hips drop down, gaze up, finding that open heart here, lifting the feet up, and then rounding the spine as you sit back towards the heels, finding that length, heart melts down to the mat, coming to your puppy pose, breathing in here. Breathing out. Let's come all the way down onto the belly. You're bringing your feet to the wide edges of the mat and you're bringing your arms out to the wide edges of the mat as well. So we're coming to kind of a starfish position. We're going to start to lift everything up. Inhale and then exhale, lowering back down with control. Inhale, forehead lifts, arms and legs lift, and exhale, lowering back down. Inhale, lifting up, keeping the gaze directly down, keeping length through the back of the neck, keeping this going, using your glutes and your core to lift you up. Inhale, coming up, and exhale, lowering back down with control. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lifting up, using your core, and exhale, lowering down. So good, you guys. You should be feeling this. I know I'm definitely sweating here. This is such an amazing workout for every single muscle. We're only here for 30 minutes, but you are definitely going to get results from this one. Awesome. Bringing your hands back to be in line with your shoulders. Just bringing your forehead down onto the mat, keeping your feet where they are. Tops of the feet connected onto the mat, bringing the elbows to come directly pointing backwards, shoulders are away from the ears. You're just lifting your heart center up, hovering the forehead. This time we're going to lift the hands and starting to press into the tops of the feet as you bring your forehead up and gaze straight down. We're opening the heart up. Inhale, lifting up. Pressing the pubic bone down in the tops of the feet. Exhale, lowering back down with control. Inhale, lifting up, hands and forehead lifts up. Exhale, release. Keeping this going, keeping the elbows directly pointing backwards, shoulders are away from the ears. You're using your heart center to kind of lift you up here, as well as pressing your pubic bone down and the tops of the feet into the mat. So not really kind of using your hands at all here. And releasing, forehead comes down onto the mat, taking a break, maybe a little wiggle, through the pelvis. And then shifting all the way back. Well done, you guys. We're coming all the way to come to our seat and taking your time to bring the soles of the feet onto your mat and bringing the hands directly behind you. Fingertips pointing forward. If you want to, you can be down onto your forearms if you're finding your wrists feel a little bit niggly. Otherwise, you can be up onto those palms. We want to bring the hands as far back as you can and kind of bringing those elbows directly backwards as well. We also want to shift the feet slightly forward, and we want to have that core engagement here. So just finding length through the whole spine, through the back of the neck, and finding that the legs are together. And we are just starting to hinge back, and then just lifting the legs into a tabletop position. You're just moving the knees in towards the belly, and then you're lengthening the legs out and drawing the knees back in. Trying to keep the upper body quite stable here. If you want to bring a little bit of movement though into kind of get into the back of the arms, you can kind of work into a little tricep as well at the same time if you want to kind of bend through those elbows and then kind of press to straighten a little bit. But otherwise just keeping nice and still through that upper body. Awesome. Let's come all the way down, guys, just keeping the legs in that same position. And we're coming down onto the forearms if you're not already there. We're bringing the legs into a tabletop position. You're extending your right leg and bringing it back, and then extending your left leg, bringing it back to that tabletop, switching sides, keeping this going. We are keeping that belly button to spine the whole time. You've got a neutral pelvis. You're breathing, making sure that the shoulders are not up towards the ears, keeping length through the back of the neck, nice neutral pelvis here, using your core to draw the leg in and maintaining that connection of core as you lengthen the leg out, trying not to bring any tension into the hips, using your core as well as your glutes to drive this movement. A little bit of space between the chin and the chest. Awesome. Now this time we're going to do a double leg. So bringing both legs in and out. Keeping this going. Breathing in and breathing out. Belly button to spine. Keeping your mind on the muscles that we're working. We're keeping everything still. It's only the legs moving in and out. Using your core. It doesn't need to be a really big kind of movement here. If you're finding this a little bit too challenging, that's okay. You can just move a little bit in and out. It doesn't have to be a full extension of the legs. Breathing in as you extend out, exhale as you bring the legs in. This time you're going to keep the arches of the feet together as you let the knees fall out wide, and then closing those legs up and extending the legs out, and then drawing the knees back in, opening the knees out and closing the knees back up and lengthening the legs out. So we're really working into the inner thighs as well here, bringing your mind to those inner thighs and the outer thighs as you open the legs out and as you close those knees back together, keeping that connection of core the whole time. Beautiful, you guys, and releasing it down. Bringing your feet down onto your mat. Just taking your time here to come all the way down onto your back. And we're just bringing the heels to come in really, really close to the pelvis. Just reaching your fingertips towards those heels and just letting the back of the shoulders connect down. We're going to find a bridge here. So we're going to bring the feet about hip distance apart. On an inhale, you're going to start to peel the tailbone up, and lifting the hips up as high as you can towards the ceiling. Weight is even through both feet. And we're going to start to just switch the cross of the hands beneath the pelvis, keeping that lift, breathing in, breathing out, kind of scissoring those hands, and then releasing, slowly rolling the spine all the way back down. Pelvis arrives last. Inhale, let's do that again. Lifting those hips up really, really high. Lift, 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 and scissoring those hands. Working into the back of the arms, keeping that lift of the pelvis, keeping weight even through the feet. Inhale and exhale, starting to lower all the way back down, rolling the spine vertebra by vertebra. Coming up again, let's do it again. Inhale, reaching the hips up towards the ceiling and reaching the fingertips as you start to scissor those hands beneath the pelvis, keeping that lift, breathing in, breathing out, working into the back of the arms as well as all of the glutes, the booty, and rolling the spine, releasing, coming all the way back down. Let's come back up, guys. Inhale as you lift the pelvis up, just little pulses, tiny pulses at the top here. You can use your arms to kind of press down into the mat, or you can be light on those arms and really, really get into those glutes even more. Just keep those little pulses going, baby pulses up and down, and then coming down with control, rolling the spine vertebra by vertebra, releasing. And then inhale, let's come back up again, pressing up. Finding length through the back of the neck, and you're lifting the right heel up, then the left heel up, and then both heels lift, lowering down, and then right heel lifts, left heel lifts, both heels lift, and keeping this going. So keeping your pelvis lifted as you continue with this. You should be feeling this. This is an amazing one to get into those hamstrings and also into the glutes as well. Keep it going, keeping the hips lifted, keeping the core engaged, and breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out, stay lifted, stay strong, you can do it, and taking your time to come all the way down. We're coming on to our left side. Coming on to that left forearm, we want to have the shoulder in line with the elbow. Stacking the hips here, and the bottom leg is bent, finding a position of that bottom leg that feels comfortable. We're going to be lifting up here, lifting that top leg up, flexing through the top foot, and you're starting to lift and lower the foot. So it's just a very small lift up and down, keeping your core engaged, keeping the hips stacked. You can lift that arm up, pointing the fingers towards the ceiling, or you can have the hand on the waist if it feels more comfortable. Just keeping this going, lifting up, lowering down, and then we are slowly coming all the way back down. And we are going to keep that flex into that foot, and we're just starting to lift and lower. So we're staying down here with the hips down on the mat. It's just a very small lift up and down, and then pointing the toe, finding a little circle forward, tiny little circles forward, and then reversing that circle going backwards, and then release. Nice little finisher here. We're starting to come towards the end of our workout. So we're just going to come to the other side with that before we take a really nice stretch here. So just coming over onto your right side when you're ready. Taking a moment here to find that the shoulder is in line with the elbow. You've got your hips stacked. That bottom leg is bent, and we've got a core engagement here. Lengthening that top leg out, flexing through the foot, and starting to lift the leg up, not collapsing into the shoulder here of that supporting arm. You're just lifting and lowering, very small little lift up, lower down. You should be feeling this, particularly after all of that work that we've just done. And lifting and lowering, staying strong, keeping that core engaged. We're nearly there, lifting up, lowering down, and then releasing. Hips come down, and keeping that flex into that top foot. You're starting to just lift up and down, little pulses, and keep it going. Breathing in, breathing out, bringing your mind to the muscles we're working through the side, hips, glutes. Awesome. Now pointing the toes, starting those little circles forward, tiny little circles. And then we are starting to reverse it, going back the other way, circling back, little circles here, keeping your core engaged and releasing, coming down. So good, you guys. We're going to start to come all the way down onto our backs for a very well-earned stretch. You should be so proud, guys, of what you've done today. It's a pretty powerful workout, and this is a workout that you can do at any time, and you'll really notice so much results, just like all of the other yoga Pilates with SJ workouts, all designed to get full body results in the most minimal time frames at home with no equipment. So if you enjoyed this one, you might like to check out all of the other workouts with new releases coming out every single week, so you never get bored. Maybe just taking a hug of those knees here, bringing those knees in towards the chest as you just let the feet relax. Any kind of movement into the toes and feet that feels good. Maybe a little rock of the hips from side to side. Just finding some deeper breaths in through the nose and out the nose or mouth. Letting the heels become even heavier. Relaxing the jaw, all the muscles through the face. Breathing in, breathing out. Maybe letting the legs lengthen up towards the sky. Maybe softening into those knees and just moving through the feet and ankles, toes, in any way that feels good. It might be a little pedal of the feet, maybe circling into the ankles. You might find a bend through the knees, just anything at all that feels awesome for you. Every day is so different and every body is so different. So really leaning into what your body needs, just kind of listening into that. And when you're ready, just starting to allow both knees to fall over to the right side. You might take your right hand and relax it onto the outer leg, or maybe just letting both arms come out to the sides. Maybe letting the gaze come over towards the left side. Letting the back of the shoulders relax into the mat. Finding some deeper breaths here, in through the nose, out the nose or mouth. And then taking your time to come over to the other side with that. Starting to slowly bring the knees up and over to that left side. And again, maybe using the left hand onto the outer knee to weight it down a little bit, or you might just bring both arms out wide, flipping the palms to the ceiling. Maybe the gaze is rolling over towards that right side, finding those deeper breaths here. Breathing in and relaxing, letting go, breathing out. When you're ready, you can just come all the way back through center. Just finding a little stretch into the glutes. Just crossing the right ankle in front of the left knee. And you can either stay here with that left foot onto the mat if that's a deep enough stretch for you. But if you want a deeper stretch, you can start to thread the hands behind that left thigh or the left knee and just draw the knee in towards the chest. Keeping that tailbone heavy, lengthening the low back towards the end of the mat as you use your arm strength to gently pull in, letting the back of the shoulders release into the mat. You can move through the feet and toes, ankles as well if you want to, if that feels good. And then when you're ready, just switching that cross, bringing the right side of that ankle to cross in front of the left to cross in front of the right knee. Maybe staying with that right foot on the mat, or you can thread the hands to come behind the knee or the back of that leg, drawing in, using your arms to find that nice hip stretch, as well as a nice stretch through the glute. Any little movements that feel good. Maybe the head wants to rock from side to side, releasing any tension out of the back of the neck and the back of the skull. When you're ready, you can just take your time to come all the way up to a seat. You've done so amazing. It's been so awesome to have you join me today. I'm just going to finish off here with a few deeper breaths. So you might just find a really comfortable position to be, cross-legged position of some kind, rolling the shoulders up, releasing the shoulders down. Let's just take some nice deep breaths in through the nose and then exhale, 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 exhale out the mouth or nose. Doing that again, breathing in. And then exhale, 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 all the air back out. One more deep breath in. And then just a big sigh out the mouth as you release, 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 release. You might stay here a little bit longer and spend a little bit of relaxed time before going about the rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me. I can't wait to see you again soon. Have the best day. Namaste.